Let's just say the ratings aren't the same with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever now eliminated. Game 1 of the Aces Liberty matchup on Sunday drew an average of 929,000 viewers. Was down nearly 50% from last Sunday's Fever Sun contest. By the way, not only was viewership down, but attendance was as well.
WNBA players have reportedly expressed frustration following Caitlin Clark's playoff exit, believing that many fans are losing interest and choosing not to stay engaged with the postseason action. Newly released semi-final viewership figures paint a concerning picture for the league, with audience numbers showing a noticeable decline. Since Clark's elimination, which many supporters argue came after questionable foul calls, the WNBA has struggled to maintain the same level of attention. Reports indicate that viewership has already dropped significantly following her departure, and there are growing concerns that those numbers could continue to fall as the playoffs move forward.
Do you want me to just say I told you so, or are you willing to say, Stephen A., you did tell us? Really? Caitlin Clark is the golden goose.
It has left many fans wondering what kind of league allows its biggest star to endure constant controversy throughout an entire season. Critics argue that the Indiana Fever were not even given the advantage of hosting a playoff game at home, while interest in the league appears to decline following each postseason matchup. Some observers have pointed to falling viewership numbers and questioned why excitement seems to fade despite teams advancing deeper into the playoffs. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is reportedly preparing for a trip to Europe, where she is expected to take some time away from the spotlight, though speculation continues about whether a lucrative overseas opportunity could eventually attract her. Many supporters believe few could fault Clark for considering such a move, especially if it offered substantially higher earnings and what they view as better treatment. Frustration has also surrounded the Rookie of the Year voting, as Clark fell one vote short of being a unanimous selection after one voter chose Angel Reese instead. That decision sparked widespread debate among fans, with many demanding greater transparency regarding how the final vote was cast.
Could be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlin Clark away from us and give her a crazy offer. I mean, Ice Cube was about to give her $5 million to play in less than 10 games in the Big Three.
Onto what they describe as the full impact of the Caitlin Clark effect. Some players reportedly believe that a large portion of the audience is primarily interested in watching Clark, and recent discussions around ratings have only fueled that perception. The conversation intensified as fans compared viewership figures and debated which players generate the most interest. Aya Wilson also found herself at the center of the discussion after some fans labeled her games as less entertaining, criticism that reportedly did not sit well with the star. As the debate continues, questions about fan engagement, television ratings, and star power remain a major talking point across the WNBA landscape.
Should have been unanimous.
Should have been. I agree.
It should have been unanimous. And one of the things that sticks with me is, well, she was the first rookie to get a triple-double.
Aya Wilson also appeared frustrated by the continued discussion surrounding declining viewership numbers. Despite capturing the MVP award and continuing to establish herself as one of the league's premier players, many fans and commentators have argued that her impact on audience growth has not matched the attention generated by Caitlin Clark. The comparison has fueled ongoing debate across the basketball world, with supporters pointing to Clark's influence on television ratings, ticket sales, and overall fan engagement. As those conversations continue, the contrast between individual achievements and broader audience appeal remains one of the most discussed topics surrounding the WNBA.
This year is more the year that I've seen anyone call my game boring than it's ever been. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever.
A'ja Wilson, 28 years old, 1,000 points in the regular season. Why is that not the biggest story out at the moment?
Exactly.
Why are we talking about Caitlin Clark?
Exactly. Why when A'ja was releasing a shoe were we talking about Caitlin?
The impact of Caitlin Clark's absence from the WNBA playoffs goes well beyond simple viewership figures. For many observers, it has brought attention to a larger issue within the league: how dependent its recent surge in popularity may have become on one player. Clark served as a major attraction, drawing attention not only to the Indiana Fever, but also to the WNBA as a whole. When the Fever were eliminated by the Connecticut Sun and Clark's rookie campaign came to an end, the decline in audience interest was immediate and noticeable. More importantly, It sparked renewed discussion about the league's ability to maintain engagement without its most recognizable star on the court. Reports indicated that playoff viewership dropped significantly following her elimination, leading many analysts and fans to argue that Clark's presence was responsible for attracting a substantial portion of the audience. For those observers, the numbers reinforce the belief that the WNBA has benefited greatly from Clark's popularity, while also raising questions about how the league can continue building and sustaining that audience moving forward.
For the 2023 season, the WNBA had grown by 40% viewership from 2022 to 2023. But with Caitlin Clark's arrival, it's grown by 400% viewership. What that means is if the WNBA were continue to grow at the rate it grew from 22 to 23, it would take until 2028 to do what Caitlin Clark did this.
This significant drop in viewership has been described by many as a major warning sign for the WNBA. For years, the league has worked to overcome challenges related to television ratings and fan attendance, and Caitlin Clark's remarkable rookie season appeared to provide a surge of momentum. Her games regularly attracted record-breaking audiences, creating the impression that the league was finally reaching a new level of popularity. However, following Clark's playoff exit, many observers have argued that the strength of that momentum may not have been as secure as it initially appeared. Without Clark participating in the postseason, the league has struggled to maintain the same level of excitement and attention. Many fans who tuned in specifically to follow her performances found fewer reasons to continue watching after her departure. While the remaining playoff teams continue to compete at a high level, critics argue that they have not generated the same degree of star appeal and public interest that Clark brought to the court. As a result, the overall conversation and excitement surrounding the playoffs have noticeably cooled compared to when she was still involved.
To me, and also coming off of Olympic break, Caitlin Clark separated herself. Yeah. She should have been unanimous. Now to celebrate her, one thing that people forget is as a rookie, she was the most blitzed player in the WNBA, and she still put up 19, 5, and 8 assists.
One of the most debated aspects of Caitlin Clark's playoff exit is the manner in which it unfolded. Throughout the season, Clark was frequently involved in highly physical contests and often found herself on the receiving end of hard fouls that sparked discussion among fans and analysts alike. While the WNBA consistently celebrated her impact and talent, many supporters felt that she was not given the same level of protection that a player of her stature should receive. To those critics, the issue extended beyond a handful of questionable calls and reflected what they viewed as a recurring pattern of aggressive play that gradually wore her down over the course of the season. They argue that the physical toll of those repeated battles ultimately affected both Clark and the Indiana Fever during their playoff run, contributing to the disappointing end of an otherwise remarkable rookie campaign.
There was a Jordan effect on the NBA and the game of basketball. I would argue at one point early on there was a Steph Curry effect on the NBA and on basketball also. You bet your ass there is a Caitlin Clark effect on all of basketball, and especially on women's basketball.
The playoff series against the Connecticut Sun became one of the main examples cited by fans who were frustrated with how Caitlin Clark was officiated throughout the season. During several moments in the series, Clark was involved in heavy physical contact that many supporters believed warranted more whistles than were ultimately called. To those watching, it often appeared that officials were allowing a highly physical style of play to continue, leading to criticism about whether enough was being done to protect one of the league's most recognizable stars. Many fans expressed frustration as Clark absorbed repeated contact while the game continued with limited intervention from referees. Critics argue that this was not simply an isolated incident, but part of a broader conversation surrounding officiating standards in the WNBA. For years, debates have persisted about how physical play is managed across the league, but those concerns became amplified when they involved a player widely credited with helping drive new attention and interest to the sport. Supporters contend that the league must find the right balance between allowing competitive physical basketball and ensuring that its most influential players are properly protected, particularly when their presence plays such a significant role in the league's continued growth and visibility.
We don't want fans that are going to degrade us and call us names. I mean, we already see what's happening in the world. Something needs to be done, whether it's, them checking their fans or this league checking.
Caitlin Clark's breakout rookie season represented far more than an individual achievement. For many observers, it was a major opportunity for the WNBA to introduce itself to a much broader audience. Her games consistently attracted large numbers of viewers, including many people who had rarely or never followed the league before. It created a unique moment for the WNBA to build on the excitement surrounding Clark and potentially convert that attention into long-term fan interest. However, critics argue that the league failed to make the most of that opportunity by not doing enough to address concerns about the physical treatment she received throughout the season. Many fans believe they witnessed repeated instances of hard contact that were not always officiated the way they expected. As a result, social media became filled with reactions from supporters expressing disappointment and frustration, with many arguing that Clark was not adequately protected despite her importance to the league's growing popularity. For those fans, the issue became a major talking point and fueled ongoing debate about officiating, player protection, and the league's handling of its most prominent new star.
CISM has been impacting the WNBA well before this year. This is not a new thing. Sure. This is, and in that way, I do think Caitlin's being used as a pawn. Caitlin didn't bring CISM to the WNBA. This has been happening, and that I think is what's been such a shock for all.
This situation has contributed to a growing belief among some fans that the league is not doing enough to protect its biggest stars, a concern that could potentially affect long-term fan engagement and loyalty. As a result, many observers feel the WNBA now finds itself in a delicate position. Caitlin Clark's impact during her rookie season brought unprecedented attention to the league and introduced countless new viewers to the sport. However, critics argue that if the league fails to address concerns surrounding player protection and the overall treatment of its most recognizable talents, it could risk undermining the very momentum those players have helped create. For many supporters, the discussion goes far beyond wins and losses on the court. They view it as an issue that could influence the future direction of the WNBA, its ability to retain new fans, and its continued growth in the years ahead.
There are very, very few people, but there are some out there who resent the fact that this young white girl came out there and did her thing. Rookie of the Year, 4th in the league for MVP voting, assist leader, one of the top leading scorers after the Olympic Games. She put on a show, validating all the attention she was receiving.
As if Caitlin Clark's playoff exit had not already disappointed many fans, another debate quickly emerged shortly afterward. Despite a rookie season filled with record-setting performances and a widely acknowledged impact on the WNBA's popularity, Clark did not receive a unanimous Rookie of the Year selection. The outcome surprised many observers who believed her contributions both on the court and in driving fan interest made her the clear choice for every first-place vote. Throughout the season, Clark consistently delivered standout performances and played a major role in attracting new audiences to the league. However, when the final voting results were announced, one voter chose Angel Reese instead. That single vote sparked widespread discussion among fans and analysts, with many questioning the decision and debating whether Clark's historic season should have resulted in a unanimous honor.
The number of viewers for WNBA games that Caitlin Clark is not in is like 3 to 4 million. When she's in the game, when it's her game playing, it's like 17 million.
Yeah. Well, I also look at the attendance in the arena.
Yes.
It's 8 to 10,000 everywhere else. Caitlin Clark, 17, 18,000.
As if Caitlin Clark's exit from the playoffs wasn't frustrating enough for fans.
The outcome sparked a strong reaction from many fans who struggled to understand why anyone would choose a different candidate over Caitlin Clark. Supporters argued that Clark had played a major role in raising the WNBA's visibility and was largely responsible for the surge in attention the league received throughout the season. Because of that, the fact that she fell one vote short of a unanimous Rookie of the Year selection was viewed by many as a surprising and disappointing result. The controversy grew even further because the identity of the voter who selected Angel Reese was not publicly disclosed. That lack of transparency led to additional frustration among fans, many of whom felt that Clark's achievements and influence were not being fully recognized. As discussions continued across social media and sports platforms, the voting outcome became yet another topic fueling debate about Clark's impact on the league and the recognition she received for her historic rookie campaign.
No matter if you are rooting against Caitlin Clark because you like another team, There's very few of them.
I'm excited
even
to
if it's
see,
that.
I'm excited to see who it is.
The controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark falling short of a unanimous Rookie of the Year selection extends beyond a single voting result and has the potential to influence how many fans view the WNBA moving forward. Throughout her rookie season, Clark was widely credited with helping elevate the league's profile, attract new audiences, and generate unprecedented attention. Because of that, many supporters believed her accomplishments warranted unanimous recognition when awards season arrived. Instead, the fact that she did not receive every first-place vote left some fans disappointed and feeling that her contributions were not fully acknowledged. The decision to award one vote to Angel Reese rather than Clark quickly became a major topic of discussion, prompting debates across the basketball community about the voting process and how award selections are determined. For many observers, the issue is not simply about one vote, but about whether the league is properly recognizing the players who have had the greatest impact both on and off the court.
I think that second half really set the tone for me, for her to be, and should have been, the unanimous Rookie of the Year.
And it wasn't just one triple-double. She had 2 on the season.
And this is why we would love for the WNBA to make voting not anonymous. Because if you were the person that had that one vote, you should just be able to stand on it, and we should know who.
For Caitlin Clark, falling one vote short of a unanimous Rookie of the Year selection may ultimately serve as additional motivation moving forward. Throughout her rookie season, she demonstrated that she can compete at the highest level and make a significant impact on the game, and many believe that any perceived slight will only strengthen her determination in the years ahead. Athletes often use moments like these as fuel to push themselves even further, and Clark has already shown a strong ability to thrive under pressure and scrutiny. For the WNBA, however, the controversy presents a more complicated challenge. The debate surrounding the voting results has generated widespread discussion among fans and analysts, creating questions that are unlikely to disappear quickly. As a result, the league may continue facing criticism from those who feel Clark's achievements and influence deserved even greater recognition, making this an issue that could remain part of the conversation well beyond her rookie season.
Who's the best player in the country?
To the media or me?
As you see it.
I feel like I'm the best player in the country.
With Caitlin Clark expected to spend an extended period away from WNBA competition, the league faces a significant challenge in maintaining fan interest during the months ahead. Over that stretch, the WNBA will need to find ways to keep audiences engaged despite the absence of its most talked-about player. Although the league itself enters an off-season period, basketball fans will still have plenty of other options to follow, making the task even more difficult. This challenge has become a major talking point, particularly among those who point to the decline in viewership that followed Clark's playoff elimination. Throughout this lengthy break, the WNBA will be tasked with sustaining momentum and keeping fans connected to the league. However, many observers believe that accomplishing that goal will not be easy. Clark emerged as one of the league's biggest attractions, and her absence creates a noticeable gap that many feel will be difficult for the WNBA to replace in the short term.
My question is, who did it? Speak loud and clear, raise your hand, all that good stuff.
If the WNBA wants to keep Caitlin Clark committed to the league for years to come, many believe it must take stronger measures to ensure player safety and protection on the court. Critics argue that the level of physical punishment Clark endured throughout the 2024 season is not something that can continue indefinitely, and they warn that failing to address those concerns could make alternative opportunities more appealing. One option frequently mentioned is playing overseas, where some leagues are known for offering larger financial incentives and what supporters view as improved overall treatment for players. In recent years, European basketball has become an increasingly attractive destination for top talent, providing competitive salaries and additional professional opportunities. For that reason, some observers argue that if Clark were ever to seriously consider playing abroad, it would represent a major setback for the WNBA. Given the impact she has had on television ratings, fan interest, and the league's overall visibility, many believe the WNBA cannot afford to lose a player who has contributed so much to its growing popularity.
A rising tide lifts all boats. If folks were more receptive to it, more moments would have arrived. I still contend Caitlin Clark should have been on Team USA. Imagine the international, the global audience that would have followed her. But folks missed it because of feelings, not business.
To avoid a situation like that, Many believe the WNBA must place a stronger emphasis on player safety and overall well-being. Supporters argue that this includes ensuring officials consistently call fouls when they occur, protecting players from excessive physicality, and preventing the type of aggressive play that critics say contributed to Caitlin Clark's playoff exit. Clark's influence on the WNBA has been impossible to ignore. She has attracted new audiences, boosted television ratings, and brought a level of attention to the league that many feel has not been seen in years. At the same time, her absence has highlighted concerns about the league's ability to maintain that momentum without her. For many observers, the situation has revealed a broader challenge facing the WNBA, namely how much of its recent growth and fan engagement has been connected to the popularity and drawing power of a single player.
Somebody thinks Angel Reese was the Rookie of the Year? Fine. Maybe it's a writer who covered her team in Chicago. Okay. It's not the end of the world. Like, I don't know if Caitlin Clark's going to go, can you believe I didn't go unanimous? Now, I thought we would have unanimous MVP and unanimous Rookie of the Year.
The coming months could prove extremely important for the WNBA as it works to maintain the momentum generated during Caitlin Clark's rookie season. Many observers believe the league must address the concerns that have been highlighted in her absence or risk slowing the growth it has spent years trying to achieve. Looking ahead, supporters argue that the WNBA should focus on protecting its star players, continuing to develop talent across the league, and finding ways to keep fans engaged even when its most recognizable names are not on the court. For many people, Clark represents more than just a talented player. She is viewed as a central figure in the league's future and a key reason behind its recent surge in attention. Those supporters believe the WNBA must fully recognize the value she brings through increased viewership, fan interest, and media coverage. They also argue that concerns regarding perceived bias and the treatment of Clark should not be ignored, warning that failing to address those issues could alienate some of the fans who began following the league because of her presence. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and check out the additional videos appearing on your screen now.